Welcome back to Bad Fans, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad. Now, it has been a couple of weeks, and we have a couple of playoffs that have started. We also had the NFL draft occur. But what is the only thing that the NBA can do to pull focus away from even the third day of the NFL draft? Have a scuffle. And we had a scuffle in the Denver Nuggets game against the Timberwolves. And it was Jokic defending the honor of his basketball hoop because Timberwolves clearly were going to win their game. And McDaniels went in and laid up the ball. So again, you've heard my stance on this. I don't care. Why do you care? Jokic is a big, scary man. But you know what a big, scary man can do? That's probably the best player in the NBA right now. I mean, you might say Wembanyama. I just don't think he's where Jokic is yet. Well, that big, scary player, what they could do is win. So don't throw a temper tantrum at the end of the game because your ass was whooped and you take it as a personal insult. That how dare he run down to the other end of the court in an unguarded basket and lay in another 2 points. But can you blame him? Everybody, it's bad sportsmanship. Grow up. Grow up. The days of this sportsmanship are for scoring or running up the score, that's gone in the NBA. That doesn't exist in the NBA. Games are won by 30 plus points in the NBA now. We live in a league where 3-pointers rain down. And in this game, I mean, there was some news, right? Ant goes out injured. Today, we're finding out that he avoided ligament damage. But they lost more than just Ant in this game. And the thing is, the Denver Nuggets are built to be a team that can go in and rattle off 3-4 games in a row. In this situation, they only need 3. But they need to stop being run over by this Minnesota Timberwolves team because it's the same team that took them out before. The same team that took them out before. This team has no business taking out a team or a player as talented as Jokic. Now, they're playing without their best player against Jokic. Can they hold off a Denver Nuggets team that has talent, that has very good players, long enough for Ant to get back, or can they just knock them out? I don't know. I think the Nuggets need to go on a run here. This is a legacy series for them. If they can't get past the Minnesota Timberwolves, that's an issue. You got to be able to get past the Minnesota Timberwolves if you're the Denver Nuggets. This is not something that should happen to a team with the best player on it. Okay? They shouldn't be getting waxed by the Minnesota Timberwolves. But here we are. And do we think that this little scuffle on the sidelines is going to spark some intensity from the Denver Nuggets? Who knows? I'm not a believer in that's going to spark some new intensity in professional athletes. I don't think that that's going to be a thing that happens. We must all defend the honor of our hoop moving forward. No, you need to defend the honor of your hoop from the start of the game. This isn't a thing that's just now they did a layup late and we didn't appreciate it. So now we got to get mad. No, you should be competitive right now. This should be something that you're already participating in as far as the defense of your hoop. It shouldn't just be after the game when somebody does something you don't like, right? It should be immediate, and it's not. And that's why you're down right now in the series. Let's also touch on something here. The end of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. It appears over. It appears that Steve Kerr believes it's over. It appears that Steph Curry might think it's over. And it appears that Draymond Green definitely thinks it's over. But with this team, how great they have been over the last decade is pretty insane. And they should have more than 4 championships. Injuries got in the way, and people are going to give Kawhi Leonard credit for that title. Injuries got in the way, and people are going to give LeBron James credit for that title. But the truth is, this Warriors team should probably have 6 championships. They should probably have 6 championships. And it's hard to even fathom that they don't after all of this. But in saying that, I'm going to celebrate them just right now. This is one of the best dynasties to ever exist within the NBA. This is a dynasty for all time. Okay. They were able to do something that not even the Celtics under Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett were able to do. They were able to do something that the Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh were not able to do. They were able to do things that only the Chicago Bulls and Los Angeles Lakers were able to do. So when we look back at this team, we need to recognize that as, hey, this is a top team, a top dynasty ever. So what's going to become of this team? Is Steve Kerr out? We don't know yet. Nobody said anything. We have to wait till the end of the playoffs, maybe. But Steve Kerr, he might be gone. I hope not. That'd be a really stupid move. But at the beginning of all of this, they said they were light years ahead. Dunleavy has done nothing, like I've said multiple times, but show he's a terrible GM. He's done nothing to help this team. Absolutely nothing. This guy is a waste he's a water can with holes in it. This dude is awful. And right now they've got a lot of money on the books in Jimmy Butler, old ass Jimmy Butler. They got a lot of money in the books in old ass Draymond Green. And they've got a lot of money in the books tied up in Steph. But they still have some maneuvers in the next 2 years. The problem is Steph has been getting injured more frequently. And Steph is not getting younger. And I've said this a billion times. They need to find people to put around Stephen Curry. If they can't find somebody to put around Stephen Curry, the team is doomed moving forward because they don't have a lot to fall back on outside of Stephen Curry. Now, as we look at the Warriors moving forward, it's hard to imagine them after these years with Steph Curry, without Steph Curry. But does he leave? Does Steph leave at the end of this year or next year, pardon me? Because that's a very real possibility as well. Could he go title chasing? Try to find a contender? Because Steph Curry will fit in anywhere. Steph Curry's skill set has not really diminished all that much outside of the injuries becoming an issue. Steph Curry can still get his shot whenever he wants, and he can still shoot from anywhere on the floor. So this Warriors team has some decisions to make, and the fans have some decisions to make. Are we going to get behind this team as it goes into what appears to be rebuilding, or are we going to push this team to move on from Dunleavy and push this team to try to get some players around Steph and go on one last title run? I think I speak for the entire fan base when I say, let's put pieces around Steph Curry and go on one last title run. Enough of the nonsense, enough of the worrying about what draft picks we have after Steph Curry is gone. No, go all in now. Because the one thing we know is championships are forever. And when you have an opportunity to win a championship, you go after that championship. You don't sit back and say, well, 5 years from now. No. With Steph Curry on your team, playing the way he is, your window is now. Okay? Steph Curry showed that he could turn back the clock in his play-in game. And he just couldn't do it for you 2 nights in a row. You need people around him, so it's not always on Steph Curry to go out and win. Now, let's get on to the NFL draft. What everybody was watching, sorry Jokic, sorry Timberwolves, sorry Nuggets, everybody was on the NFL draft this weekend. Now, it is a prime time made-for-TV spectacle. And, of course, the mystery was finally solved of who was going to go number 1. Obviously, it was going to be Fernando Mendoza. And obviously, the Raiders had to take him. He was the only good quarterback worth taking in the top 10. Or so we thought. How about the Sean McVay drama that was dropped on us? And now it's crazy. You know that a couple is primed for a breakup when they have to come out and make a statement. Hey, whole world that saw this whole thing unravel. We are in lockstep. We are in this together. And we will make sure that moving forward, we present as a unit. No. You guys are going to break up. Because the Los Angeles Rams took Ty Simpson. I think he's tiny. I don't think he is tiny for the position. Okay, it's tiny for the position. And I don't think he has the tools after only playing 1 full season at Alabama to go ahead and translate into an NFL quarterback, especially in that offense. What are we talking? One of the most complicated offenses in all of football, and you're going to drop this guy into that offense and expect anything? No, all we expect from Ty Simpson is to ride the bench for the next year and maybe next 2 years, depending on how long Matthew Stafford wants to play. A strong case can be made that could have been the Super Bowl winning team this year. Seattle was awesome all year, but Los Angeles was right there with them. Seattle is a great team, but Los Angeles is right there with them going into next year. It's literally going to be, when does Matthew Stafford decide to go, and does Sean McVay go with him? Because that could very well happen. Sean McVay has hinted for a few years now that he is ready to be done. He's ready to move on, which sucks for all of us that enjoy good football and a good offense, because Sean McVay is a fantastic offensive-minded head coach. He produces fantastic results through this offense. He's given us not just one, but two really, really all-time receivers. One really, really problematic all-time receiver, and some things we didn't talk about with Puka Nacua, but that guy's got a lot going on. So who knows what Sean McVay is going to be able to come up with, especially if he loses Puka for a prolonged amount of time, as Puka Nacua is now in rehab. What were the Rams thinking drafting Ty Simpson? They were thinking, we got to prepare for the future, but was this the guy? I mean, there were better quarterbacks later rounds. There are quarterbacks that are undrafted free agents. There is so much going on with this draft because, yeah, it's not the most top-heavy draft. It's not the most star-laden draft, but it is a draft that could have some pieces in it that you could find later or even as undrafted free agents. I think it is a talent-rich, as far as like filling the holes is concerned, draft. The Rams, I think it's a huge miss here. And let's talk about another team that had a huge miss, the Miami Dolphins. Okay? So, Miami Dolphins, clean house. Everybody's up for sale. Everybody can get traded. Anyone can get these players for a price. And as Ted DiBiase says, everybody's got a price. And they have a new coaching staff in town. They have a new GM in town. This team is primed for a rebuild. And how do they announce what their plans are for this rebuild? Of course, they're going to draft the hometown kid in Reuben Bain, right? The college standout superstar that helped drag this Miami Hurricanes team to a national championship. They didn't win. And the Miami Dolphins didn't win any hearts. When they passed on Reuben Bain, Tampa, however, takes Reuben Bain, so smart Florida team versus dumb Florida team. There's a reason why Tampa has competed year in and year out. There's a reason why Tampa has won Super Bowls in this century, and Miami hasn't even sniffed close to a AFC Championship game, and that's because they have smart people doing smart things. Miami doesn't seem to have that, because what does Miami do with their draft pick? Well, Miami goes ahead, and Miami takes a guard. All right, so what are we thinking here with Miami? What is this splash that we're gonna get behind our offensive line? Go look at what Miami's last few drafts have been like. Miami has taken quite a few offensive players over the last 10 or so years in the first 3 rounds. So this is just another person for the fans to get disappointed over. I think that it'll be fun to see what Cleveland has, though, because Cleveland went ahead and surrounded their quarterback, who I don't believe in, but surrounded him with a lot of talent. Now it's kind of like, look, man, we've got you. We've surrounded you with talent. Can you make something happen? Also, is it a competition with Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel? Is it under a new head coach? Could it be? Or is Shedeur Sanders the clear-cut number one? I don't think he's clear-cut. I honestly think that this is a team that is up for grabs at the quarterback position, and whoever can maximize the talent that they just went out and drafted is going to be the one that gets that starting job, and is going to be the one that earns that starting job. Because let's be real, the Browns aren't set to compete. They're in a tough division. The Steelers, though they don't look like they have a quarterback yet, it's looking like it's probably going to be Aaron Rodgers. They went out and didn't do well in replacing Mike Tomlin with Mike McCarthy, but they did a thing, I guess. They missed or were made to be embarrassed by the Philadelphia Eagles, as they had already called Lemon and said, hey, Lemon, we're going to draft you. And then what did the Philadelphia Eagles do? They traded up and drafted Lemon. So that's okay, though, because they're still better than Cleveland, okay? So that's what I'm saying when I say they're not really going to go anywhere, and they really need to discover what is our identity moving forward. Baltimore's due for a huge bounce back. Baltimore and Cincinnati. Both of these teams are set up for success and to have a huge bounce back. But will they? I don't I think Baltimore will. Baltimore has to. Cincinnati, we'll see. Can Joe Burrow actually stay healthy? Can he? Because and it also in some of his press conferences, it looks like the injuries are catching up to him mentally. He doesn't look like he wants to keep going through the grind that the NFL season is. It looks like he can't get protected from his offensive line, and he's a little tired of it. He gets hit harder than anyone else in the NFL, and he gets injured more than any other starting quarterback in the NFL, especially any star starting quarterback in the NFL. I think that the Browns are the bottom of the barrel again. I think Cincinnati, I think they keep Joe Burrow healthy this year. I think they have a little bit of a bounce back. I think that Baltimore has their bounce back. I think we see Pittsburgh sink, but I think we still see Pittsburgh be better than Cleveland. I think that without Mike Tomlin, they lose some magic, and Pittsburgh is not going to be able to sniff that never having a losing record again. I think that they're about to go right into a season where they're going to have a losing record. Somehow Mike Tomlin was able to pull some stuff off and never have a losing record in his tenure there. But I got news for you, Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin ain't walking through that door. He's going through the doors at NBC. So this is the end of any no more losing seasons for Pittsburgh. But they're still better than Cleveland. So maximize what you have, Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, because it looks like this team is doing a lot to surround whoever that quarterback is with talent, and they need to take advantage of that. Finally, the Las Vegas Raiders. We did a little bit of commentary on them as we talked about Fernando Mendoza, but let's look at the rest of their draft. They're weak completely in the secondary. They've got some good linebackers after free agency with Kobe Dean, with Quay Walker. But what do they got Crosby back in a canceled trade with Baltimore. So they've got a decent line with Kwity Paye. Kuntz is back. They needed secondary. So what did they do? They took McCoy from Tennessee. How will this work out? Because McCoy is coming off of an injury. I wanted McCoy. McCoy's a big body cornerback that if he is fully recovered from this ACL, can make big plays for your secondary. And they need that. They need a big body cornerback that can shut down one half of the field, especially in the division they're in, with people the likes of Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. Do they have that now? I don't know, but I'm more excited about a rookie cornerback drafted in the fourth round than I've been about any cornerback the Raiders have drafted in a very, very long time, probably since Nnamdi Asomugha. So here we are with this Raiders team, and they drafted another player that is coming off of an injury in Stooks. Very fast, very good at that nickel slot, and could be safety for them, which is another position need that they have. So where do we see the Raiders moving this player? I think that they're going to move. I don't think they're going to put him in a nickel slot. I do think he's going to be a safety that they have tried to cover the whole field with that speed. And he has that capability. What I'm really excited about, though, is the running back they got out of Arkansas. Why? Because it is a big body who also has speed to play in that backfield with Ashton Jeanty. It takes a lot of that load off Ashton Jeanty, and it allows for him to be a premier running back where we can actually have Washington go in and play a third down style back that has a knockout punch, which is awesome. It's not like he's just a big power back. He's got the speed to back it up, and that's something the Raiders have been lacking for quite some time. The big disappointing part of this draft from them, no wide receivers outside of Benson in the 6th round. I think that's a big miss. I think passing on Boston, letting him slip to Cleveland is a big miss. I think relying on the development of Thornton and Beck, I don't believe in these receivers. If they could have hit the field last year, they would have hit the field last year. But I think it's going to be cool to see what Kubiak can do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kubiak just has that magic touch. We've also got Brock Bowers, so we'll see. He could be a great safety net for a young quarterback. No, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy. And if he is, it's going to be for a very short amount of time before he is replaced. It was very clear last year that Kirk Cousins is done, as are we. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us on The Sad Fan.